Live from the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS2 News at 5 p.m.
We begin with breaking news. 4 police pit maneuvers and a spike strip didn't stop this suspect during a chase that lasted more than 2 hours. Neither did hitting someone on a scooter.
And that's how it all started. CBS 2's Dave Lopez is live with a wild chase that stretched from Culver City to San Clemente. Dave.
Well, we're just a few miles up the road overlooking the 5. The freeway is wide and clear now. They have towed that jalopy. That's about the only way to describe it. I don't see how it was still running, but it was. The suspect, Carl Flores, is in custody, but only after a struggle. He just would not give up. We are also told that negotiators were on the phone with his wife. They were trying to get this thing to end. We do not know if he actually talked to his wife on the phone, but he just wouldn't stop. As you mentioned, he hit someone on the scooter in Culver City, went round and round in circles at LAX, went on the 405, and then one of the darndest things you've ever seen. He just kept going and going and going. After a long and tense standoff, officers rushed the car that Flores was in and took Flores into custody. An uneventful end to an intense, hours-long pursuit that went from the LAX area all the way into San Diego County. Early on, police say that Flores, believed to be a military veteran, hit a person on a scooter in Culver City. You can see the damage done on the car's windshield. LAPD officers did all they could to try to stop him, but Flores wouldn't stop. They pitted him 4 different times. The first 2 attempts spun Flores around, but didn't really stop him for long. Just seconds later, he was off and running again. The third pit maneuver was a wild one. The officers rammed the car so hard, the back windshield actually flew off, and the back bumper ripped off the car. Officers then got out of their patrol cars and drew their guns, but Flores, just again, took off. The fourth pit maneuver sent the car sliding across the roadway, but once the driver had control again, he slipped past the patrol cars and took off one more time. Police also used several spike strips to try to slow down Flores, but once he was on the freeway, he had clear sailing south, and he took off for miles and miles and miles until we believe he ran out of gas right near the Las Pulgas off-ramp, not far from Camp Pendleton. He just kept going and going and going. And when Flores finally ran out of gas, the traffic was backed up for miles. There was no place for anyone to go. Are you frustrated now?
No, not at all. It's just part of it. It's not going to be long. It's just a few more minutes, right? It looks like they're opening the roads now.
Okay.
It's only
Of course I'm frustrated. But, I mean, what can you do?
Well, if you have your golf clubs with you and you're stuck on the 5 with no place to go, you can practice your putting.
Oh, dude, not on.
The gentleman who missed that putt to the right, he said that he knew something was wrong when a CHP officer passed him on the freeway, cut in front of him, and then they had the longest traffic break you can ever imagine. Miles and miles, some 80 miles from LAX to where it finally ended. As for Flores, we are told that he suffers, according to his family members, from PTSD. We don't know why he stopped. We don't know what he was thinking in the first place. And he did not give up until the dogs went after him. Now, if you saw some blood on him when he was coming out, that was not from the dog bites. That was from the time that they hit him with the beanbags. Again, it was a chase that just went on and on. One of the darndest chases you've ever seen in a city known for high-speed chases. And there are times when you kept saying to yourself, am I really looking at what I'm seeing? Is this going on? Is this believable? Reporting live from San Clemente, Dave Lopez, CBS 2 News.
All right, Dave, thank you. An unexpected turn today for an Orange County man accused of driving drunk and killing a mother and daughter. That suspect was arrested after a multi-car crash on the 22 freeway New Year's Day.
He was supposed to be arraigned today, but instead he's going to be let go. CBS 2 Orange County reporter Michelle Gili is live in Santa Ana to tell us why. Michelle.
That's right. And the information we have is that Melvin Branch is going to walk out of these jail doors behind me here within the next few hours. The district attorney this afternoon made the decision to reject the case, saying that we only are able to file cases in which we have enough evidence to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. The Orange County man arrested by the California Highway Patrol after a fatal New Year's crash, which killed a mother and daughter, will be released from jail this evening. The district attorney says there is not enough evidence to file criminal charges at this time against Melvin Branch. He was booked on suspicion of driving under the influence with a blood alcohol level over .08. DUI causing great bodily injury, and vehicular manslaughter. Branch, who turned 30 hours before the multi-car wreck, was expected to be in court today. This is video of Melvin Branch early Tuesday morning on the 22 freeway in Buena Park. After Branch was put in a patrol car, officials say he kicked out the back window and tried to climb out. CHP officers are seen in the video wrestling with the suspect. They eventually tied his legs together and strapped him to a gurney as he flailed and screamed. 9-year-old Peyton Castillo was pronounced dead at the scene. Her mother, JoJo Gardner, died at the hospital. They were driving home to Hawthorne after a New Year's Eve party. Family friends are raising money now to bury the pair, as well as to help pay for educational expenses for 2 sons who were left behind. Now, as a result of these new developments late today, I called the CHP, and the officer there who deals with the media said that they have nothing formal from the district attorney to indicate at this moment that the case has been rejected. But the DA confirms that indeed they did reject this case. The CHP emphasizing that that does not mean that this case is over. That's the latest live in front of the Orange County Jail in Santa Ana. I'm Michelle Geely. Back to you.
All right, Michelle, thank you. A former security guard pleaded not guilty today to murdering a man he suspected of shoplifting at a Walgreens in Hollywood. Donald Ciota is charged with murder. Police say on December 2nd, Ciota, working security for Walgreens, confronted Jonathan Hart inside the pharmacy. The 2 men struggled. Prosecutors say Ciota then shot Hart in the back of his neck as he ran away. The attorney for the victim's family says Hart was targeted.
Who was profiled, we say, because he was homeless, who was harassed, we say, because he was gay, and who was shot, we say, because he was black.
It looked to me like a trespass and a robbery. There was no provocation by my client.
Ciota remains in jail on $3 million bail. He is set to return to court next month to see if there really is enough evidence for him to stand trial.
Breaking news now on the strike showdown between the LAUSD and the teachers union. The district just filed papers in federal court seeking an order to prevent special education teachers from taking part in the strike that is scheduled for next week. And Randy Page just got reaction from the head of the union. Randy, what is he telling you?
Well, Pat, we're going to get to that issue involving special needs students later, but let me first give you the headline. Alice Caputo-Pearl, who is the president of UTLA, says that while the union has been offering to negotiate with the district since yesterday, wanting to begin negotiations on Monday, he just did confirm that the district will indeed begin negotiations on Monday, although Caputo-Pearl said that the district never communicated with him directly. Rather, through the media, the district has agreed to begin negotiations. It appears those negotiations then are going forward. But that said, it is worth noting that a strike could happen as soon as this next Thursday. And today we heard Mayor Eric Garcetti say he's very concerned that strike actually could happen.
I think that the strike is all but inevitable, but I hope that it will be short-lived.
Today, Mayor Eric Garcetti said he's offering space in City Hall as a neutral place for the teachers union and the school district to try and hammer out their differences.
I don't think as much separates both sides as you might hear. I think in terms of pay, there's not a lot that separates them. I think that everybody wants to make class sizes the right size. I think everybody wants to have support staff. The question is, where does that money come from and how do we do that?
Today, United Teachers Los Angeles said it is rejecting the district's latest offer because the union says the pay raise the district is offering is still contingent on health care rollbacks. The proposed contract allows the district to raise class sizes, and the union says the district is not offering enough additional resources for the number of nurses, counselors, and librarians that are needed. The union is offering to resume negotiations on Monday, while a possible strike could begin as soon as a week from today.
In the end, the longer this drags on, the more our children and the more our city will suffer.
In front of Belmont High School in downtown Los Angeles today, this student told us she supports her teachers, but she's concerned about a strike.
Well, our education is at risk because we won't have any teachers.
This mother with 3 young children wouldn't speak to us on camera, but told us in Spanish she supports the teachers, but she's worried that a strike could put her children behind in school. Now, late today, LA Unified filed legal paperwork which will begin a process to try and ask a court to prevent the union from allowing any of the people in their bargaining unit, teachers, nurses, and others, from striking when those employees deal with special needs children, special education children. The district is saying they're trying to legally prevent this strike, at least involving those employees. When I asked Alex Caputo Pearl about that legal maneuver, his answer, he says this is a legal Hail Mary. And he says if the district was very concerned about special needs kids, they would have shown that a long time ago. We'll have more on what he had to say coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. But Pat, Jeff, the headline is it appears on Monday, negotiations will begin involving both the district and the union. Let's go back to time. Huh?
Yes, for sure. All right. Thank you for that update, Randy. Now, when was the last time you saw this? Frost. Yeah, that's Frost in Studio City.
Looks like that's the hood of somebody's car, too. I don't know that I want them scraping across mine. Garth, so which direction are we headed? Colder or warmer?
A little bit warmer for one more day. The overnight lows were better last night than today, though. Good afternoon, everybody. But we're about to change pattern tomorrow and go back onshore. So we have one day left that will come up just a little bit. It'll help us on the overnight lows as well. 60 degrees right now. Humidity low out there, but way more 60s than what we saw yesterday. 36 Big Bear, 48 in the Lancaster, 62 right now in the Sherman Oaks. So you can see we're good 5, 6, 7 degrees in some spots. Warmer. San Bernardino, about the same where you were yesterday, but nothing less than where we were yesterday at this time. And those winds are starting to slowly turn onshore as we expect this system to start moving through the area as we get into the weekend. But we even did better downtown by 3 degrees today, 66 degrees. The average is 68. All right, so we have a couple of storms. Last week I talked about a change in the weather pattern. That looks like it's coming to fruition. Big word for me. We'll show you that coming up in just a little bit. Back to you guys.
And I'm going to ask you to spell it. Thanks.
All right, Garth, thank you. A 14-year-old boy is under arrest tonight.
He's charged with murder for throwing eggs. Crystal Cruz, can you sort this one out for us? Okay.
Sure Crystal's
We're going to
here.
get back to Crystal in just a moment, but we will be going to this story next. Okay. A California congresswoman takes back the gavel as the historic 116th Congress gets to work.
That's Democrat Nancy Pelosi right there, elected House Speaker again today after the midterm elections tipped the House in her favor, her party's favor. This is her second time at the helm, having had that title in 2007. After the peaceful transfer of power, Pelosi ran down the list of promises and duties she and her party vow to keep.
I pledge that this Congress will be transparent, bipartisan, and unifying.
I just want to start off by congratulating Nancy Pelosi on being elected Speaker of the House. It's a very, very great achievement. So hopefully we're going to have a lot of things that we can get done together. And I think it's actually going to work out. I think it'll be a little bit different than a lot of people are thinking.
Interesting to see how that's going to happen. Over the Senate, Vice President Pence swore in 29 new and re-elected members on the Senate side. Tomorrow, the new congressional leaders will meet with the president to talk about ways to end the partial government shutdown, which is about to enter its third week.
Well, a record number of women are now serving in this new Congress. Coming up in our second half hour, we'll take a closer look at the new female force in Washington.
People jumping for their lives.
The panic when an Orange County apartment building goes up in flames. Hear from the survivors straight ahead.
And soaked on Sunset, another water main break, this time swallowing part of the street. And earthquake alerts on your phone. LA unveils America's first quake warning app.